The romances behind the throne of the Ottoman Empire. Behind the golden walls of the Ottoman palaces, where power ruled and silence hid secrets, love burned in the shadows. These were not just royal affairs, they were passions that shaped the fate of an empire. From secret glances in the harem to forbidden letters passed in the dark, the hearts of sultans and their lovers beat with longing, jealousy, and desire. In a world where love could lead to glory, or death, these romances left marks deeper than any sword. This is the untold story of the love that whispered behind the throne of the Ottoman Empire. While people often romanticize the past, believing wars were fought with honor and society was governed by integrity, the reality was far harsher. Violence was rampant, with men losing their lives or property and women often being reduced to mere possessions, used until death. The reality of life, particularly for women, was brutal, even in the highest circles of power. Being in the Ottoman Sultan's harem was a complex and multifaceted existence. For some, it may have been akin to unending slavery, yet for others, it could offer opportunities for influence and power. The harem, often seen as a place of unchecked lust and debauchery, housed the empire's most beautiful women, who were trained from childhood in the arts of pleasure and courtly expectations. The harem was a world unto itself, secluded from the outside and hidden behind beautiful courtyards and secret doors. This environment was designed to be pleasing to the eye and offered a luxurious lifestyle far removed from the outside world's harsh realities. The women within were shielded from prying eyes, living in a maze of exotically tiled rooms, each more beautiful than the last. The harem was guarded by eunuchs, whose altered bodies were believed to make them safe protectors of the women. These eunuchs wielded considerable power within the harem, controlling who could enter and exit. Their unique position allowed them to gather information and exert influence within the imperial court, making them key figures in the harem's hierarchy. Despite the barbaric times, the women of the harem were still subjects of the sultan and were treated accordingly. Their surroundings were designed to be peaceful and luxurious, offering them respite from the 400 rooms within the harem. While the harem housed courtesans, it was also home to the sultan's wives, female relatives, and servants, all living under the eunuch's watchful eyes. Within the harem, women were divided into several classes. The lowest were the odalisques, or chambermaids, who needed more than just beauty to rise in rank. Jidiks, serving primarily as eye candy, and servants, who were yet to be fully approved, also lived within the harem. These women's futures depended largely on how well they could please the men of the court. The most powerful figure in the harem was the sultan's mother, who controlled all its affairs with unquestioned authority. Her favor was essential for anyone hoping to advance within the harem, as she had significant influence over who could see the sultan and when. Her reign, however, lasted only as long as her sons, after which the sultan's wife would take over. Not all women in the harem were concubines. The sultan's wives, who had married of their own free will, also lived there. These women were technically free, which sometimes caused tension with other women. Despite their freedom, they still had to navigate the harem's complex social dynamics and vie for the sultan's favor. While the sultan was the most powerful person in the empire, the women of the harem were not always at his beck and call. There were rules governing their interactions, although the sultan could change them to suit his desires. If the sultan set his sights on a woman, she would soon find herself in his bed, regardless of her status. Beauty alone was not enough to succeed in the harem. Women underwent extensive training in refinement, maturity, and confidence. The harem functioned as a school where girls were educated in various arts and subjects, preparing them to navigate the complexities of court life. The women in the Sultan's harem came from diverse backgrounds, often purchased from slave markets across Russia, Greece, Turkey, Ukraine, Iran, and Europe. They were trained in playing instruments, dancing, reciting poetry, and mastering the art of seduction. Additionally, they were educated in literature, geography, history, and other subjects, making them well-rounded individuals. The Ottoman Sultan's harem was infamous for housing some of the most beautiful and talented women in history. These women, though often seen as mere concubines, were educated and trained in ways that allowed them to influence the empire's most powerful men. The harem was a place of both luxury and intrigue, where power dynamics played out in a world secluded from the rest of society.